Hello, Dota fans. I am your host, Anna Prosser-Robinson, and I am thrilled to be your host for the moment we've all been waiting for, the grand finals of the HyperX D2L Season 4. I am so stoked, and we have a great story going on. We're going to watch LGD take on Fnatic and friends. But before we do that, let's talk to them. Jimmy, could you come on over here? We're going to have Demon and Xiao8 come on over and chat with me real quick. Jimmy! All right, now both of your teams have come out of quite a story of adversity. First of all, Fnatic, we have 2 last-minute stand-ins. You're one of them.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. You know, coming in as the #2 seed in the Western Division, already facing a little bit of a challenge as maybe not one of the favored teams, and yet here you are. You've been playing some crazy Shadow Fiend. You've been playing a lot of the characters you like, and it's been working. So, you know, tell me a little bit about how you think you got here and how you and the team are feeling right now.
Well, I mean, how I got here was I was really last minute, and they needed a player that was close to Vegas, and unfortunate enough, I was there, and I was available to play for them. How we actually came together was just a lot of, like, what do you like to play, what's your favorite kind of thing, and eventually things started playing together, and I mean, like, everything started going together, and it ended up working out for us, so.
Well, and LGD also came out of some adversity. You know, if you guys haven't heard the story, you ended up having to drive by car from LA to Vegas in order to be here in time to compete because of weather conditions in the US. And now you're standing here, you're going to be playing Fnatic, which is also kind of expected. You're coming in as the #1 seed in the Eastern Division, and you don't have to translate all of this if you don't want to, that's fine. But, you know, you mentioned that you expected to probably be playing VG in these finals, and yet you're facing Fnatic. What kind of mental state does that put you in, and are you still feeling confident through all of these kind of upsets and changes?
上一场瑶说你们可能更觉得更会看到 VG 在这，但是现在是 Fnatic 还有没有信心？
信心我们是一直有的，就是这2场 Fnatic 都打得非常好，不管是打安奈斯跟 VG 都发挥得非常出色。
We indeed do still have confidence in facing Fnatic. However, it must be noted that they did play very well against both VG and Alliance.
Definitely so. Now, I talked to Fly about how your strategy so far has kind of been lose the first map, get a feel for things, and then move forward. LGD is coming into this series already 1 map up because they're coming from the winter final. So are you guys going to have to change your strategy, or what do you think? It is a best of 5, so you have some cushion, maybe.
We're going to do the impossible.
And what's that?
Come back after 2 losses and 3 wins.
Oh yeah, that's what you're calling? All right, what do you think about that strategy? Jimmy says that they're gonna lose the first map, and then they're gonna take the next 3. Is that how it's gonna go?
对面那位说他们会先让你们1盘，然后再连追3盘。你有什么话要说的？
那先谢谢他们，不过我觉得我们会把冠军带回中国的。
He says, I must thank you, but we're still going to take the title back to China.
All right. Well, you know, the players have been really polite on stage, and they don't really like to talk trash to each other. But, you know, I heard a rumor that LGD has been saying that they're going to make you look like Michael Bay and walk off the stage in embarrassment at CES. Do you have any words back to them?
It is what it is, man. Whatever's.
And I mean, you know, they're trying to be nice, but I heard a rumor that Fnatic has been saying you guys should just call your mom and have them pick you back up in that minivan that drove you here from LA because it's time for them to play. What do you have to say about that?
那个听说 Fnatic 要把你们打哭回家，哭给妈妈看。你们怎么说？
如果他们够强的话，我希望可以看到一支很强的队打出精彩的比赛。
If they are indeed strong enough to do that, then I hope that we can bring exciting and great matches for everyone.
That's so sweet. All right, why don't you guys go shake hands? Good luck. Oh. Good luck to both you guys. We'll get right into these final matches. Everyone, let's have a hand for our translator, Josh Lee. I've put him through a lot. And with that, it's back to you, AC and Merlini.
And for the last time here in the D2L Season 4, greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome in to the grand finals here at Caesar's Palace. It is a tale of perfection versus a tale of improbability, Merlini. Fnatic, let's go all the way back to the group stage. Fnatic, as their core 5, had to take the longest possible path through our bubble stage, our bubble race, to just make it here. Then they lose Era, they lose Hani, they come here, enlist AUI and enlist Demon, and somehow they managed to put upset after upset together, down a game in both cases, and just stave off elimination. And now, without a doubt, the Cinderellas and darlings of this tournament on the stage taking on LGD. Now, LGD is going to have a 1-game advantage going into this best of 5. But, you know, Fnatic has shown all throughout this tournament so far, they don't care about advantages. They're going to try to find a way to win, and more often than not, at least as they've shown us, that's going to be a reality.
Yeah, LGD looks very prepared. They also have had quite a bit of rest, too. Not really... they didn't have to play immediate matches before, and fatigue is something that you have to worry about going into this final best of 5. And yeah, Fnatic has just had to play so many games to reach this point, and it is really truly a story of great resolve. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's, what's the saying? Hashtag hard work, hashtag dedication, something
that
like
works
that.
Too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty damn accurate, actually. We're getting the game loaded in right now, but before that, we saw a little trash talking on stage, and we've seen a bit of trash talking throughout the entire Grand Finals, and, well, there's a little bit for the Grand Finals as well. We'll take a look at that now.
So, we're going to be playing LGD China today, and I'm going to expect to, hopefully in one of the games, meet Xiao middle, and not only take away the first blood, I'm going to take away his girlfriend. And that's how it's going to be.
No Tail with a few choice words for LGD. LGD, as usual, a little too polite, so no rebuttal from them. But talking about No Tail, coming through that last series, No Tail was without a doubt the catalyst that propelled Fnatic through the lower bracket finals and into our grand finals. His play has been absolutely phenomenal, even going back to their series against Alliance last night. It's not an exaggeration at all to say, whenever Fnatic starts to make big plays, all the way back here in the backstage where you and I happen to be, we still hear him yelling from out front on the stage. He is such a spark plug for this Fnatic squad.
Yeah, he really sets a foundation for their game, and it's not only in like what we see in game, it could also be like a huge morale boost too, and that's just not something that we as casters can tell, but I'm sure that he brings up the morale of his team. Even when you're fighting from behind, 1 game away from elimination, you have to long road ahead of you. You have to win 2 just to advance to the next match. It takes a lot, and just being able to be relaxed and stay motivated is very, very important if you want to stay in the right mentality.
And as you can see, we've moved on into the draft. Fnatic, very quick Crystal Maiden and Timbersaw pick up after banning the Alchemist and the Venom Mancer. Going to be a first pick Doom. We've seen that a number of times here at the Grand Finals so far. They take out the Enchantress and the Io, though, and pretty much any team who does their homework on Fnatic is going to take those 2 heroes away from them.
This is like the exact same draft from the last game that we just saw. Yeah. I think it was a Doom first pick, followed by Crystal Maiden and Timbersaw, and LGD and Vici tend to play very, very similarly. I think the main big difference that I see in between these 2 teams is that LGD actually uses a Wisp that Vici doesn't, and also Super, I think, is slightly more limited in hero pool than Xiao 8. But aside from that, their playstyle and general pick strategy is very, very similar. The usual thing for them to do right here is pick Visage, and that's what Vici did last game, but it didn't actually serve them too well. But yeah, very standard. Fnatic probably going with maybe similar bans too. I believe they banned out a Nyx Assassin.
Yep.
But LGD does not really run as much Nyx Assassin as Vici does. And we said Elder Titan ban, not giving Fnatic the exact same lineup that they had in Game 3 of our last series.
Yep, without a doubt, we saw No Tail dominate on that Elder Titan. One of the most farmed Elder Titans either of us have seen. And speaking of farm, AUI's performance in the last game, utterly off the charts on Death Prophet. Farmed just about to 6-slotted by the time that game ended. We'll see the Invoker ban out from Fnatic, so trying to make sure that they take away the potential for pocket drafts out of LGD as well. But things are so open-ended for either squad right now. The only thing that you can really say is, I mean, when you look at Visage and Doom as a leading two, the Doom works very well against Timbersaw and vice versa. I mean, his ultimate can create some problems there. But both teams really are going to need to round out their damage output. We saw that be the downfall of Vici in their last game against Fnatic, and Fnatic took full advantage of that. They just managed to have a more consistent spread of damage, physical and magical, and once they got their BKBs, things became pretty problematic.
Yep, still waiting on a second ban from LGD. Fnatic, I mean, none of these drafts are really telltale. Still, carry of choice haven't really shown out. We could see a Shadow Fiend pickup, but LGD clearly watching Fnatic in the earlier series that they played today, baiting out the Death Prophet. That Aoi actually told me that this is the first time he played Death Prophet. I don't know if I believe that or not.
Honestly, I mean, when it came to AUI, I mean, he got ahead. He had some great survivability items. That was really the tail of the tape, is he just never died. I mean, he was left to free farm for a long time, got up a very early mechanism, followed it with an Atos, and then went ahead and picked up a Scotty down the stretch as well to go with a Yule Scepter. So, I mean, even if it was his first time in competitive Dota, a lot of that was due to how much space the rest of Fnatic was able to create in those early laning phases to make sure the pressure was kept up on Vici and to make sure that they never gave them a chance to hold the Death Prophet down. And by the time Exorcism was out, they were able to just capitalize on it time after time.
Yep, still waiting for another ban from Fnatic. The pick and ban phase, dipping into the reserve time for both of these teams. Let's see, what does LGD like to run aside from their 5-man strategy? I mean, I know that Xiaowei likes his Kunkka too. Kunkka played very well by Demon last game. That might actually be a hero of contention.
We can already hear the crowd voicing their opinions on what they want to see. Meepo, the chant that is continuing to rise intermittently throughout this pick ban phase. Fnatic's going to go ahead and take a Luna. So, you know, when you look at what LGD has available to them, Rabbit is kind of an unsung hero so far. I mean, we haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he's really done an excellent job in terms of that one position. And Luna picked up for Fnatic. That's going to give them an opening to start to try and bully Fnatic around. And we've seen that all throughout the tournament. A number of games have been won and lost on the idea of just taking advantage of Luna's innate weakness in the laning phase.
Yeah, LGD may do an aggressive tri-lane and take advantage of that. It's really going to be on the supports of Fnatic and able to keep Luna alive. And Luna has just seemed like a really huge liability in many of these matches. Fnatic actually taking advantage of Vici's Luna with the Slardar and just absolutely dominating Luna. And same with Alliance. They actually crushed Sylar's Luna too. So, I mean, Luna just doesn't seem to have been doing that well, but it was very instrumental in their comeback versus Alliance too, when Aoi was very, very underfarmed as Luna and came back with a Butterfly Satanic plus a couple of other items.
Dragon Knight to pick up in third position for LGD. That's going to solidify their ability to push early once Visage hits 6 and gets his familiars out. Dragon Knight certainly excellent in that role, but once again, until and if he even builds any kind of right-click damage, they are still a little bit all in on magic damage, and that's actually good news for Fnatic in general. Luna, a hero who in many cases will rush a BKB first item after boots. Now that's looking like it will be a good call. The Dragon Knight most likely going to be taken into mid, so we're yet to see LGD's lanes really solidify, but I think Fnatic's going to have that in mind. You know, they've got Crystal Maiden, she's a ranged support. Luna, of course, with Lunar Blessing and ranged herself. I wouldn't be surprised if they went with something like a Rubik here. Nature's Prophet is still available as well, and we've seen Trixie have some success on that hero. Even Clockwork still available if they want to get Trixie a hero along those lines. But we got to wait and see who's going to be playing what hero as we move forward.
Yeah, the support is really going to dictate how they're going to play in the early game. Yeah, the Rubik is probably one of the best supports left in the pool. Venomancer already banned out. Ooh, Naga Siren. So this is something that's been very different, and this might be a very nice counter initiate for Doom. You like if Dragon Knight pops his ulti, stun someone, doom somebody, you just Naga Siren ult, run away, wait for your cooldowns, and wait for Doom to expire, and then run right back into the fight. And Naga Siren has not been seen at all recently. It was actually banned out in one of the games in the last series, but I still have yet to see her played. She is going to be a primary target for Doom, though. If she gets Doom, there's no saving her.
Yeah. For the longest time, Naga Siren, a first pick status kind of a hero, but as you had mentioned, had fallen off. She certainly still has a good kit. I mean, she's going to have some armor reduction with Riptide. That'll help against the Dragon Knight and against the Doom. Doom particularly susceptible to minus armor strats as he starts with a very low base armor. Rubik picked up in 4th position, so one of those 2 teams was going to take him. We pretty much knew that. Rubik also very good in general against Fnatic in terms of stealing spells. Crystal Maiden, anything she casts is going to be okay. Timbersaw has a number of really good spells. Eclipse, though, is a very, very potent spell and pretty easy to steal overall because of the cast point involved. And even Naga Siren with Riptide and its Snare, a lot of utility Rubik can find just hitting R and taking something away from Fnatic to use against them.
And Fnatic has banned out the Necrolite, clearly also studying LGD, and LGD banning out Kunkka, even though they like to run it sometimes. Looks like Dragon Knight will most likely be played mid by either Xiao 8 or Yao, and will not be played in the hands of Demon.
The crowd continues to murmur what they want to see.
10 seconds.
Only a handful of seconds left, about 40 or so.
They need a Demon hero.
Yep, there it is. Gonna be Shadow Fiend, so there's gonna be more than a little minus armor involved. And Timbersaw, of course, with Whirling Death, matches up very well against Strength Heroes in Doom and Dragon Knight. So they've got very nice tools, and the combination of Riptide, presence of the Dark Lord, as well as that Whirling Death to deal with those heavy, tanky heroes. Gonna be Rabbit, actually, taking the reins of the last pick Storm Spirit. Gives them some much-needed reach and initiation.
Fnatic actually has no way to deal with the Storm Spirit. They don't have any stuns besides the mini stun from Lucent Beam. So Storm Spirit will just have free reign if he gets enough farm. And as a safe lane, especially babysat by a Rubik and Visage, Rabbit should be pretty big this game. On the flip side, though, like, can he really man up versus a Shadow Fiend? Not really. He's pretty much just has to dodge him a lot and try and draw out his BKB. So I think coming the mid-game team fights, they're going to have to do a lot of kiting around if they want to bring down a farmed Luna and Shadow Fiend. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be all about the right-click damage. They're going to have a lot of damage to turn out that is going to be pretty much at kiteable range. I mean, Dragon Knight and Doom, again, and we talk all the time about Dragon Knight's strengths. He can do decently if he gets ahead, but he's not what you think of as a traditional right-click late-game carry. He's much more of an anchor hero that you build a lineup around and allow him to manage fights, allow him to have secondary effects that give you advantages in big fights, allow him to fit into and be the catalyst of pushing compositions. But that's not the direction that LGD wanted to go this time around. I feel like it's a pretty even draft across the board. Really do like that last pick Storm Spirit, though.
Yeah, I like the last pick Shadow Fiend from Fnatic too. They can get away with it. They fully expected a Dragon Knight mid. And Rubik, I mean, yeah, he can gank, but he's not going to be able to get in a kill. They really have to bring Rubik and Visage if they want to kill the Shadow Fiend, and that'll leave whoever's their safe lane farmer to be vulnerable to Fnatic's own tri-lanes. So we'll see what Naga Siren and Crystal Maiden, they will be able to kill a Storm Spirit prior to level 6 if he is left unattended. But all in all, I think the early game rotation is going to be very important for both teams. Can LGD kill Demon multiple times so that he is ineffective, unlike the games that we've seen him just completely shine in? And is Fnatic going to be able to keep down Rabbit, or is this Storm Spirit just going to farm up and just be left completely unchecked with the lack of disables on Fnatic's lineup?
Brief pause as we make sure all the players are set, all the tech issues resolved before we get underway. Looking at the top, you can see already a one-game advantage for LG to 5, so Fnatic with a little less room to breathe. They need a win to reduce it to a best of 3, and LGD just 2 wins away from bringing home the hardware in that minivan and getting it back to LAX on their way to China. And it's been an unbelievable tournament so far. Surprises around every corner, except with LGD, really. I mean, LGD is still perfect in D2L play. Coming in 7-0 following their group stage, they make it here, and they win 2 in a row. So right now, they're sitting at 9-0, looking to improve to a perfect 10-0 on their way to a championship.
Yeah, they've had an incredible run thus far, too, and will Fnatic be the ones that are able to stop them? I mean, Fnatic just looked completely out of form versus LG. Granted, it was Fnatic's first 2 games with Demon and Aoi on their roster, so you can't really fault them too much for it, and you can't really look too much into it. But at the same time, I mean, LGD, it hasn't really even been close most of their series.
Yeah, I mean, LGD's, whenever they've looked weak, they have looked a little sparse. But in general, even when they've dropped a game, and this goes all the way back to the group stage, even when they would drop a game or 2, they just always seem to get it together. They always seem to have the adjustments they need to get things on track and make sure that they never give up more ground than necessary. And, you know, these are 2 teams. I mean, and you brought this up in our last series. I mean, LGD, a team that thrives on the 5-man. Fnatic, though, tends to find most of their success, even with these stand-ins, in small skirmishes and roaming in packs of heroes, 2 and 3 at a time, sometimes 4 if you're trying to free up space for another hero to farm towards a key item. But that's where they find their success. So it's going to be a convergence of 2 similar but different styles, and it's all going to come down to execution, movement, and more importantly, to just making sure you keep a level head and reduce mistakes. Dota, a game that punishes mistakes worse than any other esport on the planet, and especially whenever you have 2 teams that are as good as these 2, yeah, a lot of attention has to be paid to execution.
And for those of you tuning in, it is our first game of best of 5. LGD starting off with a 1-0 advantage coming out ahead over Vici in the winner's bracket. And this is the conclusion of the D2L. It's been a very good run, ASC.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, man, and hope to have you back in the future. Looks like we've got an unpause. I didn't think that was real life. So, yeah, Doom resumed the game, and Demon with the manner pause, making sure that they're able to get their heroes back in. That'll be Rabbit, who is currently disconnected. So good news is, if you're going to have an issue like this come up, you certainly want it to come up now and not later in the middle of a match. And it looks like Rabbit has rejoined us. But as you said, Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure at the D2L. Worked with a lot of great people. Special shout out once again to Level Up, the production team that has handled all of the production, and of course all the D2L staff. Colin, Conrad, Molly, Gianni. Let's see, Sean who's doing a lot of the great camera work for us, and everyone else that has supported us, and it's, be it through in-game ticket or just through your stream viewership. It really has meant the world, and it's been a very successful season. We're looking forward to bigger and better things come next season. We hope to have you back for that as well, Ben.
Mm-hmm. And looks like everyone's reconnected to the game. Not exactly sure what we're waiting on. LGD seems to be wondering the same thing too.
Looks like it's a voice over IP problem. So making sure everyone can communicate correctly. Yep. And No Tail says
you don't need communication to play Dota.
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, if it was Fnatic having the trouble, all they have to do is just let Era make all the calls, or not Era, but No Tail, because we can hear him all the way through the screen. But finally, countdown resumes, and we're back underway. Both teams loading in and beginning to move out here in our grand finals. And taking a look at how the final drafts wrapped up here, Ben, what are your predictions for lanes? Do you think Fnatic's going to end up putting some pressure on, or do you think it's going to be the other way around with LGD being the aggressors?
I mean, Aoi is almost always safe laning as Luna, too, especially without a ranged, 2 ranged babysitters. One of them will be the Naga Siren. I think it's pretty safe to say that Fnatic will be.
And Fnatic continuing to move on out. It looks like there won't be any blood on the ground, so we'll run through our lineup, see who's handling who. On the side of LGD, Zhao 8 will be handling our Doom. Rubik will be played by DD. As anticipated, Yao taking our Dragon Knight into mid. Visage going to be played by DDC. And going to be Rabbit farming the safe lane Storm Spirit. On the other side of the river, we've got Fly, the captain, handling the Crystal Maiden, Naga Siren. A surprise pick. He's going to be played by No Tail, and No Tail without a doubt. The performer throughout this tournament so far that has really been the heart and soul of Fnatic. Demon, of course, on Shadow Fiend for the 3rd time. His first 2 appearances are any indication we can expect to see some fireworks here in Game 1. Trixie on our Timbersaw, and Luna handled by AUI. The horn blows, and Game 1 is underway here at the grand finals of the HyperX D2L.
Yep. Seeing some wards being placed out early. We see Fnatic place a very safe ward over here. This ward is to make sure that their supports are free to roam and to secure farm for AUI 2000. Last game that he played, Luna, he just got absolutely wrecked all game, or actually first 20 minutes of the game, and they want to make sure that it does not happen again. And placing a ward up there just to confirm what LGD's lanes are will be very, very good for them. This Observer ward, I think, is just slightly out of vision, so they still don't know exactly what their lanes are right now. Fnatic definitely knows that Yao is in middle, and Demon actually has a pretty good creep block too, so he'll be able to stay up his hill. Yao will be forced to tank some harass, although he does have some shared tangos in his inventory.
And yet another pause, and not sure what the issue is. If it's VoIP or something else related, but I'm sure our admins are addressing the issues as we speak. But if there's anything that AUI can feel quite good about, it's going to be that he should have tons of room to farm here, as it'll be Zhao 8 taking the Doom into the off lane. He's going to have a a easy time farming in the face of the Doom, especially with No Tail supporting. And once the Crystal Maiden, played by Fly, makes his way out of the jungle, should be no problem whatsoever to zone him out. Here in mid, this mid matchup's interesting. I mean, Yao's going to do okay against Demon for a while, but we've seen this matchup before. Once Shadow Fiend gets a handful of souls and starts to get that damage up, it becomes really troublesome for a mid DK to face up against this, especially when you have a Crystal Maiden on the team as well. Her Arcane Aura helps him out with mana regen and the ability to just spam raise over and over again.
Trixie trying to get some experience on bottom. Visage has left the lane in order to creep pull, and Trixie got his first experience. Doom, in the meanwhile, his creep wave is very close to his tower, so both offlaners getting a tiny bit out of their lane right now. And DDC doing the double pull right now. Seder creep camp coming to aggro.
Trixie taking some harass from DD on bottom. Looks like he'll chase him away, but all in all, not a whole lot to report either way. Zhao 8 did find level 2 relatively quickly, so things going okay for him, although completely unable to contest AUI. Super, though, really the big winner so far. And we can see Zhao 8 using Scorched Earth already to scare No Tail away, as well as regen a little bit. And 2-minute rune will be up in 30 seconds, but so far, really quiet.
Trixie leeching a little bit of that neutral experience. And No Tail with boots first already too, so he opted for the Tango Obs wards into boots, which is somewhat unusual. Naga, one of the fastest heroes in the game, 370 with boots too, should be able to catch anyone down with ensnare. Unfortunately, she is still level 1 and no ensnare up for another half a level.
Trixie finds level 2. He was able to get forward as DD and DDC both went to creep pull and suck some experience, and the rune will be at top. It's actually going to be Zhao 8 that manages to find it. It's a regen rune, so Demon not desperately in need, not the biggest loss in the world.
Yep, he's doing decently in terms of middle, 7 and 2 compared to the 8 and 4 from Dragon Knight. So he has 11 souls and he hits at critical level 3 with his Arcane Aura up too. So now is the time for Demon to start hoarding those souls.
Trixie continues the leech experience. He's actually almost level 3. Taking a look at the matchup, same with Zhao 8. AUI very far up under his own, up under the LGD tower, so a lot of experience being shared. Level 4.5 against the level roughly 4 now of Demon, so roughly a break even across the board. So which team do you expect moving ahead then to be the team that breaks down this laning phase first?
I think that the pressure is on LGD just because their late game is not quite as good as Fnatic's. I mean, Storm Spirit, he's nice with items, but he still can't just main up in a right-click war versus Shadow Fiend and Luna. They're just going to have to play very smartly around Fnatic's BKBs if they want to win their team fight. And once like Luna gets like a Manta style and Shadow Fiend does too, they don't really have that much that can deal with it. And Storm Spirit is not really seen as that hard of a carry, so it's mostly on LGD. Can they make things happen with the Storm Spirit jump as well as the level 6 on Doombringer?
Yao continuing to go toe-to-toe with Demon, and Demon, honestly, I mean, he's beginning to open up the gap. He's up to 17 CS to the 10 of DK. And this is where you can expect to really see the advantage of Shadow Fiend begin to kick in a little bit. Here is a rotation out of Fnatic, though. No Tail and Fly want to make a run at him, and he is way far ahead. This is terrible news. No Tail there with the ensnare. Demon getting back, and first blood goes to Fnatic in a battle of East and West. West draws first blood.
You can tell that Yao's feeling the pressure, though. He doesn't want to give Demon free farm, but he can't also go up into a very vulnerable position like he did. He tried to go up the hill, and that is just way too dangerous against a level 5 Shadow Fiend. He got 2 raises up before the 2 supports even came up there. Trixie with a little bit of cheeky plays, DDC getting that DD rune, and yeah, gold and experience advantage certainly going in favor of Fnatic after that.
We can see Zhao 8 continuing to try to leech. He has slowed down a lot in his experience gain, still just level 3. And Crystal Maiden, almost level 4 now. Fly, or excuse me, No Tail, getting a bit of experience out of that mid gank as well. He's found level 3, almost level 6 on AUI, and that's when things get dangerous for Zhao 8. Being caught out with an Eclipse, a certain death, even with a little bit of Scorched Earth action to try to help him. Here in mid, Yao continuing to try to hold serve, and honestly, 8 CS behind at 5 minutes in could be much, much worse. We see Demon now ducking back into the jungle.
Yep, they're looking to kill Zhao 8. Their ward is going to expire in about 1 minute's time. They were also able to utilize that big creep spawn too, so Aoi is certainly very far at this point in the game, almost level 6. Zhao 8.
Oh, Zhao 8 in trouble, and Snare follows the Frostbite. That's going to be our second kill of the... Oh no, one auto to attack short. AUI had Lucent Beam off cooldown. Don't know if he was just out of range or if he just didn't think he needed it, but Zhao 8 walking between the raindrops, able to limp back to base safely.
They definitely did not account for that ice armor, though. The ice armor 8 armor is very underrated. And we see these two supports, DD and DDC, walking in. No Tail finds them. Demon's right behind.
There's the ensnare on the DD, and Trixie comes in as well. DD blown up. DDC trying to make a run for it. Yao can only breathe fire and hope. Demon right behind them. Not going to be able to get into range quite yet, but another kill goes their way. A blind raise not going to connect. Still, Fnatic's movement so far trumping that of LGD to the tune of 2-0.
Again, it's a tale of the supports on Fnatic. They're just always at the right place at the right time. They are very good at protecting Demon. They're very good at protecting Aoi, and they just let Trixie do whatever he wants to do. Yeah, sure, Rabbit has free farm, and he's 45 and 20 right now, but both Luna and Shadow Fiend have around that 40 CS mark too.
Taking a look at Rabbit. 45 CS for him, as you had mentioned, and making very nice progress. Now, this is the downside. Fnatic is moving well. They're putting pressure on top and middle, but they are freeing the map up for Rabbit, and as you so astutely pointed out, they don't really have an answer for him at most stages of this game. They don't have any hero who will naturally build a scythe device except maybe the Crystal Maiden at one point or another. I guess Naga could, but for the most part, it's going to be tough going in dealing with Rabbit in early team fights.
Yeah, I think that Shadow Fiend may have to build a scythe device in the later game if it's only Rabbit causing them issues too. Yeah. So that option is always open to them.
And we see Rabbit trying to make something happen, but falling for it as the illusion used to bait things out. Trixie, 4.5 up the top.
Shall we?
Yep, in trouble, gonna be frostbitten after the Nova. AUI is there, gets the Eclipse off, and finally, they track him down. No Tail was there, but the ensnare wasn't even needed. They may end up pushing off of that.
Fnatic getting off to a very good start. 3 kills, should be 4, but still, they're very content with their early game. And considering they have the better late game too, again, they're in that position where LGD is very far behind and they don't have better late game, so the pressure is certainly on them. Doom still not level 60. He's only level 4, actually.
He almost got ensnared under his own tower. No Tail wound up for it, and it looks like Fnatic thought better of it, anticipating a big reaction if they decided to dive. Demon, though, doing what he does. He's near the top of the CS board, actually tied with AUI at 52, and has really done well out of that mid lane. Down at bottom, DD's hooked up with Rabbit. Looks like they want to push on their own.
Yep, Timbersaw not level 6 yet, so no chakram to stall that tower push. Rabbit also has a Ring of Basilius in his inventory, and that will definitely aid in trucking this tower down. No glyph, there is no contest from Fnatic.
Fnatic gives up that first tower, and Fnatic, or LGD rather, makes up a little bit of ground. They still have yet to find their way onto the kill board. But now with the TPs into mid, Demon looking to bait something out perhaps. Zhao 8.
Over here now.
Right there with Rabbit, and Rabbit didn't go for it. There's the ensnare on the Zhao 8. Saw the cavalry coming. There's a stun on the Demon. Zhao 8 gonna make a run for it. There's Vortex on the Demon. They should be able to get him, but Trixie's there. Demon making a run for it, will end up dead. Yao now the lone one up front. Telekinesis onto Trixie, bringing him forward. Fly and No Tail can do nothing but watch on as the Timbersaw dies mid Timber Chain. And just like that, LGD not only finds their way onto the board, they cut down on that lead. This whole time, AUI was trying to split push top, but the glyph was used, so the tower still stands. Now in mid, Yao gonna lead the charge as they try to get some damage done here.
That was so important for LGD. They had to do that. They had to slow down Shadow Fiend's BKB at all costs, and finally they get some sort of breathing room. Although Luna was left unchecked on top, she actually went for an HOD build, so we'll see a lot of ancient stacking already, 2 stacks over to here, and that tower is very, very low too. Glyph has been used just 30 seconds ago.
I worry about AUI's choice of items. There's so much on LGD, magic-wise, and not a lot of physical damage, at least right at the outset. And he's going to be very susceptible, especially to Storm Spirit jumps. So he's going to have to play very, very carefully. I guess that's just an indication that Fnatic is going to play relatively passively.
Yeah, the thing is, if they jump on Aoi, then Shadow Fiend's left to do whatever he wants, and vice versa too. And this is before Song of the Siren too. So even though LGD got the jump on them, if they have Naga, Song of the Siren, that fight just gets completely turned around after Storm jumps in and after DK Stun is used. So they have to be careful about when and where they choose their fights. And if they don't do Naga Siren, they're going to be in for a painful, painful fight too. So No Tail needs to get his level 6 up ASAP. He still hasn't died yet. So props to him on that support. It's still very difficult for both of these teams. The gold lead at 0, so almost dead even in that regard.
I don't think that's any real surprise, given the way this early game has gone. There's a jump from from Rabbit, jumping on the Demon, and the Dragon Tail to follow it. Can they burst him down? They can. Trixie's there to try to help, but too little, too late. There's the Eclipse, though, and Zhao 8 might be a return kill. Yao in not the best shape either. Zhao 8 crests the high ground, one miss from the low ground, and snare. And Trixie there to secure the kill with the Timber Chain. 3-4, Fnatic trades 1 for 1, though I'm sure they wish they could have had Demon alive.
Yeah, getting the kill on Demon is just so important, and they have a ward up here too, which is getting taken out by Fly immediately. Rabbit working on that Orkin. Looks like he's probably just going to be Orkining the Naga Siren and then dooming one of the higher priority targets such as Shadow Fiend and Luna. And it's going to be important for him to get that up as soon as possible, even though he is 3-0-0 and he has a fair amount of CS, actually most CS in the game right now. His Orchid's actually going to, it'll come out at a reasonable pace.
Trixie completes his arcane boots, and the BKB for Demon on the way. He's got 900 gold on top of an Ogre Club towards it, so not that much to go, about 2,000 gold, give or take. And Fnatic right now just trying to hold the line, but this is where again, the concern with Rabbit's Storm Spirit comes in. He has been left almost entirely alone, and AUI, with this Helm of the Dominator build, is just really not all that well equipped to come to fights unless he's coming to a fight where they have the positioning advantage right off the bat.
Yep, they have also blocked the spawn too, so they know what Fnatic likes to do. They will try to play greedy, stack up camps, get huge on the carries, and make the other team come to them. But LGD's finding very good fights because Demon has been caught in the same position twice in a row, so he has to farm somebody somewhere else, or Fnatic has to be better prepared, already sitting there as opposed to reactionary and TPing in.
And LGD taking a breather, all going back to their side of the map. No Tail's going to get the ensnare off on Zhao 8, but not enough support there to actually make a concerted run of it. This tower pretty low at 140 HP right now. So just out of deny range, but could be brought down fairly quickly. AUI is taken to the jungles for now, 900 gold on top of his Helm of the Dominator.
There's smoke.
And Trez. The smoke moving through, and another pause. And we're going to hope it's a short one and not a critical one. But a very tight game one so far, Merlini. And what else would you expect coming out of these two teams? What a way to kick off this series.
Yep, I think LGD has to be extremely careful with their BKB use too, because Fnatic has a lot of physical damage and they have the ensnare. So Song to Siren, if one hero is BKB'd, is just going to lead to immediate 4-on-5. So they have to be extremely careful about that. Yao is going for a BKB. Does not look like Doombringer is going for it. He's going for a mech, but he is so slow. There's a jump.
Trying to jump on the Trixie. Trixie makes it away. Rabbit does mention Vortex and flies there. Trixie will be blown up, and here comes Demon. Hits the raise, but the Visage Familiar's wonderful stunts, catching all three and securing their retreat. DDC, very low, will be ensnared from the high ground. AUI is there, doesn't have the clips up though. AUI and Demon both eating the Breathe Fire, and they do manage to get Visage all the way across the river. In the meantime, DD manages to steal his ulti.
Yep, I guess all in all, not that bad of a trade, although they did use Doom as well as Dragon Knight Ultimate, and they did not expend Eclipse on the side of Fnatic. So, yeah, he does have Requiem. It's so I'm surprised that Visage died there. I thought he was in the clear. Yao stunned Luna as she was about to cast Lucent Beam to finish off the kill, and Naga Siren is now level 6 too. He doesn't have any mana, but he is at base right now. They have to be very careful. He might just TP in with a Song or Siren, and that would be very, very devastating, especially if followed up by a Freezing Field or something similar. Actually, Crystal Mana has not yet skilled Freezing Field.
Taking a look at Fly's build, level 7, no point into Freezing Field yet. And it looks like LGD shares your sentiment, not liking how risky that situation felt. No Tail will be hoofing it back on out though, so 4-5, Fnatic maintains a slight edge in terms of kills. The gold though remains just about dead even. Just a handful of coins separating these two teams. The experience in Fnatic's favor as well, but very marginal.
Rabbit is very, very close to his Orchid too. Just 400 gold away. Looks like a Roshan attempt is happening right now. There is Helmet Dominator on both Shadow Fiend and Aoi. And we see Doom ping it out, but he is nowhere close to the fight. They're sending the Visage Birds in, but it's already going to be about a third HP by the time it gets in. And they know that they're doing it right now.
Yep, one gets in, and they do manage to get the stun off. Here comes LGD, but as mentioned, they're spread out.
Doom's not even there.
Yep.
He's not even close.
They'll challenge this shorthanded if they challenge it at all. They're not going to have time. This Roshan's going to drop it. Fnatic, yep, they're going to secure it, making sure they get it with a Song of the Siren. So Fnatic taking control of the early game. There's a Grave Chill on Demon, but no follow-up. 15 minutes in, and Fnatic managing this early game the way we knew they could.
That's a very smart move by them. If LGD goes to contest, they just Song of the Siren just like they did. So Fnatic's going to have control of the map for quite some time. LGD's going to try and push mid, but I don't think they can do so, even though Fnatic doesn't have the BKBs up on Shadow Fiend or Luna. Oh, actually, Luna's at like half HP. It doesn't look like they even want to contest this.
Glyph's going to be popped. And a Wildkin being used, a dominated creep to try and zone them out a little bit. LGD wants this tower, and they're going to move the familiars in to help. Chakram is down, but don't think it's going to make a difference, and it won't. Rabbit takes the last hit on the tower as the rest of Fnatic withdraws. Demon, though, has taken the opportunity to go to work here on this Ancient stack.
Yeah, they need BKBs, and he feels very safe right now because they've had to commit a lot of resources every time they want to kill the Shadow Fiend with the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit jump into a DK stun, sometimes into a Doom too, or just a Doom burst coming in. So, like, if they have to use that and commit themselves that far into the fight, they're just going to get punished very heavily when he has the Aegis. But at the same time, if they don't kill him with the Aegis, he's going to farm his BKB by the time it expires. So, LGD is kind of in a lose-lose situation because of that Roshan fight.
Yasha completed on AUI, so he's continuing his trek up in net worth. 7,500 gold for him. Super's right behind him. Demon, number 3 in that position, about 1,300 gold ahead of Yao's DK. And DK will be getting himself a BKB. He's only got about another, call it 1,100 gold before it comes out.
There's the Orchid already up on Storm Spirit too. So Naga Siren has to watch her positioning. She has to be extremely careful. She's actually going for a Midas, I think.
Would make sense.
It's going to be a long game.
Yep. And, well, I mean, just talking about the things we talked about, like they're, you know, items like Scythe of Ice are going to be pretty essential. And whenever you're in a support position, you're not sure what you should get or what you even are going to be able to afford. It makes sense. And like you said, well, and it's a Naga Siren too. She can always transition to a damage unit. Just getting a diffusal up on her can oftentimes be enough in terms of just adding to late game damage and late game team fights. So it would make sense that they at least give themselves the option of transitioning No-Tail from a pure support into some kind of a late game semi-carry.
I think Lincoln's is going to be very important on him just so he doesn't get orchided out in these fights, because he needs to be able to use Song of the Siren to stop the burst on Demon and or Luna, especially Luna going the no BKB build. Oh, there's a smoke popped. Dude, the familiars were too far out. They got popped, and they knew that heroes were behind.
LGD going to commit to this top tower. Aegis to be reclaimed in 3 minutes. Fnatic really not in a position to do much about this. Tier 1 already down to roughly half health, and Fnatic not even going to try to respond. Maybe try to put together a push in mid. This tower is at half health. They do have some decent push potential at this point. AUI has found a fair amount of farm, and really he's getting close to having his Manta style done. And here come the TPs in. They're going to try to peck at it from range. Fade Bolt being used to stall for time, and looks like it'll be more than enough. So nice trade for LGD. Free Tier 1 tower at top.
Yep. Fnatic just buying time for their BKB on Shadow Fiend at least. He just needs a Mithril Hammer now.
And as you said, Shadow Fiend very close to his BKB now. Trixie making progress towards that Bloodstone, and it will be a Midas pickup on the Naga Siren. So we'll have to watch No-Tail closely, see exactly where he wants to go with his item build from here.
Yao almost has his BKB too. Looks like Rabbit's going for a BKB, so it's going to be a mass BKB from LGD pretty soon. And what is this neutral creep doing over here?
He's kicking it. He's kicking it. Don't know why you're asking so many questions. Rabbit spots it out and decides, yeah, that's a free Wildkin.
I'm not exactly sure why he was using it over there instead of stacking with it, but all in all, not too big of a loss.
Rabbit continues to farm away. The Orchid done quite some time ago. Already has an Ogre Club towards his BKB. Another 400 gold for the Mithril Hammer and 1,300-ish on top of that. Demon and No-Tail managed to track down a familiar and that'll prompt a reaction from LGD. But we're coming up on 20 minutes now, Ben, and we're still right at even. Very, very close in terms of gold. The experience slightly in favor of Fnatic, but in the first 20, which team do you think has accomplished more, and which team is going into this mid-game with more momentum and more advantage?
Fnatic, they just have far better late game too, and their BKBs mean a lot more.
Demon picked off, and they should, yep, there's the Aegis gone. And Rabbit happy to go ahead and bail out after that, anticipating a reaction.
The Aegis was going to expire in about 50 seconds anyway, so not that big of a deal for them. But at the same time, it does show off how strong Storm Spirit is at this point in the game.
And again, no BKB, not even started on AUI. He's the one I really worry about with Storm. As you said, he can Orchid the Naga Siren and focus another target. And if they're dedicating everything else to other heroes, I mean, they've got a lot of ways to deal with heroes in a variety of ways.
Yeah, they're going for the Yao right now. He can't BKB TP because he'll just get netted. So he's just forced to run away.
He's got support behind him, DDC and DD. And yep, there's Song of the Siren.
He's just going to BKB now, though you can't kill him.
And there's a BKB they're going to engage off of it. Once down already for LGD. Demon with his BKB pop going to work. Yao's going to end up, no! Barely able to get away. Thought he was going to be one auto attack behind. And trying to chase down the familiars. Looks like they will make it away, but a pretty decent win there for Fnatic. They take the tier 1 bottom, and they're not stopping. They're going to push on through here in mid. Doom doing what he can with the double damage, but not exactly a lot of pushing potential on a Doom.
Yep. Naga Siren showing her strength now. She doesn't even have any items now. She just has like Midas Brown Boots and Magic Stick, but the hero is just so incredibly powerful in the right hands. And yeah, the BKB pickup just used purely defensively. Rubik also spell Soul Song of Siren, but the BKBs from Fnatic led to an easy kill on Rubik.
They just gave away a couple of familiars once again. To be honest, that's a lot of familiars DDC has allowed to be paused. It looks like has allowed to be brought down. There will be a pause from Demon momentarily, and not sure what the problem is. Perhaps another voice issue as we see them on camera pointing to their ear in a variety of fashions. But yeah, 21 minutes in, Fnatic continuing to take secondary objectives. What's the turnaround plan here, Ben? What's the idea if you're LGD? How do you make sure this game doesn't get away from you?
They just need to get picks because they know what Fnatic's going to do. It's just they're going to stack and farm and then fight if they find a really good fight. So LGD has to force them into bad positions. Just wait for someone to be warding possibly, waiting for someone to be farming Ancients alone, and then just jump them with Storm Spirit because of his very high mobility and because of him almost being unkillable on the side of Fnatic. So they have to fight them before Fnatic just gets like way too big though. If Luna gets like a Manta Butterfly and Shadowfiend gets like a BKB plus one other damage item too, and Naga Siren gets like a Linken's, they just don't have enough tools to deal with all those heroes because LGD is forced to go, excuse me, almost pure defensive mode.
Still waiting to see if the issue will be resolved in a quick fashion. Taking a look at the gold graph following the last couple of engagements, we can see Fnatic beginning to open up the most sizable lead of the game. And it's obviously leveled out just over the last few minutes, but the experience actually beginning to look fairly large in their favor, getting close to 7,500 now. And looks like we've got some admins and such bouncing around to make sure whatever the issue happens to be does get resolved. If you're just tuning in, this is once again game 1 of our grand finals. LGD taking on Fnatic. First prize, $25,000 on the line, and Fnatic certainly has already guaranteed themselves at least $15,000 for a second place finish, and looking very good to reduce this best of 5 to a best of 3. Fnatic, though, really the big story, coming in completely written off and basically making the critics eat crow.
Yeah, I think LGD is going to have their work cut out for them, though. Like, in terms of metrics, Fnatic's just, like, slightly ahead, 3,000 gold. But in terms of the way the momentum is going, the way the last few engagements have gone to, the way that Fnatic's carries stack up to LGD's, it's just going to be a very tough road for LGD. They have to try and control the next Roshan, though, but it's just so insanely difficult versus the Naga Siren, too. Like, what do? Just BKB and then get focused down by Naga Siren, or just don't BKB and Naga Siren just sleeps while they finish the Roshan? It's just very difficult decision-making for LGD in the upcoming minutes.
Still waiting to see what the issue happens to be. Do see a bit of a scramble as we hope to get everything back online. I'm sure we'll get an update as to an ETA and whatever the issue happens to be momentarily. But, you know, the other storyline, again, LGD seeking perfection, which is something that's never been achieved in D2L. They and Alliance both made it to Vegas off of perfect group stage scores, 7-0 for both of them, but Alliance bounced out to everyone's surprise on day one. LGD, though, still in position. And look, we got weights across the board. Wait, all in caps there from DD.
Well, we can see that they don't have their 5th player set down.
Yeah, that's why. He's probably having a smoke. Seems like every time there's a member of a Chinese team missing, they're smoking.
Dragon Knight has some big old wings.
Yes, he does. He's admiring his wingspan. You know what they say about heroes with big wingspans, don't you?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me either. I was asking you. I was hoping you had the answer.
I didn't have a clever quip to remark.
Looks like we're suddenly back on camera. Thanks for the heads up, production team. That's always nice. But looking ahead, hopefully once LGD gets their 5th back in their seat, we'll be ready to go. Fnatic leading this game 6-4 and really sitting in a good position. So how do you feel about Naga Siren going with Midas here? I mean, if you were in No Tail's position, are you just playing this as an open up your options kind of an item, or do you have something very specific in mind?
I think she needs Lincolns. That's probably the best item for her right now. She could get like a Manta if she's scared about the Orchid, but the Lincolns is also good versus Doombringer, and it makes you think twice too, because first of all, you have to use a spell to make sure it's not an illusion that you're doing, and then secondly, you have to make sure that you don't pop the Lincolns. So it makes Xiao Ei's decision making very difficult, and the Song of the Siren is going to be a determining factor in these later team fights. So they always have to keep track of Naga Siren and where she is, and just having many items, like she doesn't need damage, she doesn't need Diffusal, she doesn't need a Radiance. She just needs items to help her team survive. She can also get a Vlad's and drums if she wants to be useful in that sort of aspect, just being the aura carrier rather. But I think Lincoln Sphere is probably going to be the best choice for her. Arcane boost if she really feels like she's lacking on mana.
And looks like we're ready to get underway as LGD takes their seats. And this game gets going once again. I just saw a big win from Fnatic, taking down a couple of heroes near the tier 1. And oh boy, the pauses continue, and it wouldn't be a D2L production without an egregious number of pauses.
Yep, Rabbit is trying to get farm. I think he needs a sheep up ASAP though. Fnatic, if they can like out farm them, then they'll be in a very good position. But if LGD can starve them by just ganking whoever's out alone with sheeps and whatnot so they can't pop BKBs, then Storm Spirit is going to be a force to reckon with.
Hoping that whatever Rabbit's issue is likewise easily resolved. Taking a look at the full smorgasbord of items that are already out, we can see Trixie is getting close to his Bloodstone now. Not a lot of distance to go for that. Demon, this BKB Helm of the Dominator. At this point, I mean, he's already got about enough survivability as you could ask for. He's hitting pretty hard too with max stacks, hitting for about 200 damage at 21 minutes, not bad. Is it time to go crit, or do you go with even more survivability?
I think he can go crit at this point. Or Manta Style. Manta Style is very nice because LGD has so much single target. With Doom, with Dragon Knight, with Storm Sphere, all of them have single target disables too. So if you get doomed or stunned or whatever, you'll still have something else doing damage for you. Also, it'll do very well for the rat type of Dota that they like to play. And just Manta and just suicide your images on towers, no problem. And just keep rinsing and repeating until the other team's forced to do something about it.
All right, looks like the issue was a mouse malfunction, and not sure if it was a driver issue. They tried everything else, but seems like a quick restart on that PC. All that's needed, and certainly all that we hope is needed as we want to get this match underway. A little bit of a late start for us. We were supposed to be done by now according to the schedule, and we're still in game 1. But thanks to everyone for staying up with us, be you live here on the floor of Caesars or be you at home watching via in-game or via Twitch. Bouncing around the rest of the map, taking a look. Really not a whole lot else to report. I mean, the Midas again on No Tail we've kind of covered. And AUI, Manta Style of his own. You know, it's Storm Spirit again, I feel like is going to be the crux hero here. He's very, very close to his BKB now. Only about 1,000 gold needed before that BKB is done. And once he has BKB Orchid, and it should be coming out within the next 3 minutes at most, I mean, what's to stop LGD from just barreling right into the face of Fnatic and daring them to outplay them?
Fnatic's own BKBs. If Stormspeeder BKBs and jumps in, he can't sustain there. He'll just get right-clicked by Timber, or sorry, not by Timber, by Shadow Fiend and Luna, and he'll be forced to jump back out. So, like, it's BKB is usually sort of face rolly. You just BKB and just crush 2 or 3 heroes, but that's not the case for either team because Fnatic, they have Song of Siren and they have Net, and in case someone other than Storm overextends, and LGD, they have Net. Or sorry, they have Doom from Doombringer in case someone from Fnatic overextends. But it's difficult because Fnatic has 3 targets you want to do. You want to doom the Nagasari, you want to doom the Shadow Fiend, and you want to doom the Luna. You can't doom all 3.
3-man smoke moving out from LGD up into the jungle. They're going to spot a Centaur.
Oh, they know someone's there. They know that Aoi is there.
Oh, Zhao 8 reveals himself and gets stomped because of it. And AUI able to scurry to safety. He's got a lot of help behind him. That's 4 from Fnatic if they want to try to react to that. And it doesn't look like, yeah, they're just going to pull back and play it safe.
Fnatic's perfectly content to farm, though. The later this game goes without any kills from both sides, the better it is for Fnatic, especially with the way that they're playing right now. They're able to farm pretty much this whole entire area right now. And LGD can farm similarly, but they just can't farm as fast as them because Luna and Shadow Fiend have passive skills that inherently increase their damage. Storm Spirit does not.
Very interesting choice coming out from Trixie. Has abandoned his quest for the Bloodstone and is instead going to build a mechanism. He's already got the headdress and the buckler. About another 700 gold, give or take, and he'll have that complete. He is fairly tanky, though, and he's already got the point booster up, as well as a cloak. So he's going to feel fairly survivable, but we're going to have to see how well they're able to take advantage of that. Seeing him switch to a mechanism approach, I think, is indicative of Fnatic's desire to try to get a lot done once it comes out. I don't think they're going to build a mech and then continue to sit back and farm passively as they have. I suspect they want to clear those last tier 2s off the map and start really running a game of contain on LGD.
I think they're okay with sitting back and farming. I think it's insurance in case LGD wants to force the issue, which they definitely do. They don't want this game to go past 40, 45 minutes, and in case they do that, they do need mid-game items to fight for that. And Timbersaw is very unlikely going to get doomed unless he's out by himself and they really want to kill him. But for the most part, it's going to be either Naga Siren, Shadow Fiend, or Luna. If they doom to Timbersaw, Fnatic should win the fight very easily.
Demon manages to take down the middle tower. In the meantime, LGD eyeing a tower of their own. Tier 2 bottom looks to be the next battleground. Teleport in, and both teams getting all set. Naga Siren using her illusions. Has Song of the Siren up, just level 9. So we'll be at level 1, and really it's all about the cooldown when it comes to Naga Siren. That's something that they're going to need, that the Midas helps out with.
There's a gem on Naga Siren too.
Yeah, that's something that the Midas helps out a ton with, and is very important as the game gets into the mid-game. It's just how many points you can get into her ultimate, so it's just available to you much more often.
Aoi has 3,300 gold after buying his Manta. His CS is a whopping 220. And compare that to free farming Rabbit at 160 and free farming Shadow Fiend at about 150 too. And that is just incredible farm. Gold League getting more and more in favor of Fnatic. LGD, they have to feel the pressure on them right now.
Demon moves into the Roche pit. He's going one-on-one with the big guy. Fly gonna move on in. A lot of personnel from LGD in the vicinity, but AUI not there. No-Tail not there yet. And we can see they're playing rather skittishly, but really it doesn't look like LGD has any idea. They're not moving any at all into that direction, and this might be a 3-second Roshan. As, yeah, I mean, the birds are nearby. They may end up spotting Fly hanging around. We can see he's going out to do a little counter warning. But Roshan very low. Yeah, that's a free second H. That's going to end up being Demon that takes it this time around.
Yeah, Demon's getting huge at this point. If he gets doomed, he might just stand there and right-click. He's sitting around 200 damage, too, and that is very, very scary if you're LGD, and they do not have the items to cope with it. Xiao 8, 0 and 2, DD 0 and 2, Yao, not a kill to his name. The only hero that is doing decently well on LGD is Rabbit.
And there's a Satanic already done for AUI. Are you kidding me? Treads, Aquila, Manta, Satanic done on AUI at just short of 26 minutes in. And we can see Yao spotted out, frostbitten. Damage isn't really there as he's able to scurry away. Here comes the rest of the troops, though. And we could have another fight here in mid. Yao at half health. Here comes AUI. He's going to go ahead and spin a Lucid Beam. Demon right there. Mech's going to be used to heal through the damage. And Demon just taking out creeps at this point.
They forced the BKB out of Yao. That's big.
And as you mentioned, Yao's BKB now down to 8 seconds.
If they wanted to push mid, they can just sleep and focus him down. And it's not going to be very easy for them to win the fight. LGD also working on a BKB on Doombringer, just up in about 50 gold. But the pressure's on LGD. Fnatic can just farm all day. They're perfectly happy with that.
And you can tell by their posture. Hanging back and just letting AUI do what he does. DK working on an Assault Cuirass, already has his plate mail up. Doom, Mech, BKB just finished, as you had mentioned. And DDC, most likely, one would imagine he wants a Scepter. He's got about 1,000 gold to use it.
LGD trying to group up mid, but they don't want to fight into the H's, but they just can't ever find a good opportunity to fight either. It's going to be another 4 minutes until it expires, and they feel like they have to do something right now. They could easily get wiped here, but at the same time, if they wait like another 5 minutes, it's just the gold graph is going to get even worse and worse for them, and they feel that this is the time. This is the time to make their stand.
Looks like that's the plan, as they are not abandoning the siege as of yet. DDC and DD bringing up the rear while they let the big beefy guys soak the damage and keep sight of the front of the fight. Crystal Maiden hanging back with AUI. Demon smack in the middle where he wants to be. No Tail hiding behind the trees, has Song of the Siren ready to go. And he may sleep. Ooh, they're grouped up, they're close, and they're going to back off. Actually, it looks like they're not super committed to fighting LGD right now. Demon going to be stunned by the Visage Familiar, but yeah, the tower's going to end up, no, denied by Demon. And here we go, they're going to jump. Trixie caught out, there's Song of the Siren. Demon, BK being through it. Rabbit, though, going to be forced, focused down through the Song of the Siren. Demon decides to pull back. DDC and Rabbit both able to scurry away, at least making it to the high ground. Trixie going to Timber Chain in, DDC brought down. And Rabbit able to use a regen to get himself back into shape to escape. A little bit of a sloppy fight on both sides, but the one casualty on the side of LGD. Fnatic comes out ahead in the kills, but does lose a tier 2 tower.
If they had a slightly quicker Doom on the Shadow Fiend, I think they could have taken that fight, but without it, no one could do anything during the BKB. Rabbit got focused down with the net, he was forced to jump away, and the other two heroes were too far away, the two supports were just slept.
And it will be a Scythe of Ice. Yeah, Zhao 8 forced staff to safety. Fly was coming in to frostbite him, so good play there to keep him alive. But with the Scythe of Ice done, they now have a good answer for Rabbit. And looks like they're not willing to overcommit as of yet. We see a jump up to the top of the ridgeline, but nothing but illusions there.
Wait, who has the Scythe of Ice?
Pretty sure I just saw Demon pick one up. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be very, very devastating for Storm Spirit. This is kind of the point of the game where LGD just doesn't have anything. They have a lot of items on Storm Spirit, kind of countered by the sleep for the BKB as well as the sheep for when he's not BKB'd. Doombringer is just like whatever. He's not very annoying because they have so many heroes that need to be Doom. So all of them are good Doom targets, but he wasn't even able to use Doom last fight. Dragon Knight under farm, just pure kind of forced to go pure defensive items. So he has to get a plate mail on Dragon Knight. That's how defensive he has to be. So 30 armor up on him, and Fnatic, they're in a very good position to take this game number 1 down. Aegis is going to expire in about a minute and a half, and Fnatic can just bide their time, and looks like they're not really going to bide because they're smoked up.
Here we go. There's a Scythe of Ice onto Yao. They're going to chase him down in snares there as well. Zhao 8 caught out. DD trying to get away. We'll get the telekinesis off. In the meantime, we see Rabbit bouncing back onto No Tail. No Tail is brought down. In the meantime, the rest of the fight raging as Trixie taking most of the damage. It's a 1-for-0 exchange so far. Trixie still alive. Barely. Zhao 8, though, will be picked off with a well-placed Shadow Rays from Demon. So a 1-for-1 trade. The tier 2 still stands, and they're not done. Trying to pursue him out. Lucent Beam and Fly. 4 staffs ahead, gets the Frostbite off. AUI using the Manta style. DD stole Chakram, but DDC, Fly eating a lot of damage. They managed to get him. Fly does end up being traded away. DD, though, able to teleport to safety. So a 2-for-2 exchange that time. And Rabbit continuing to bounce all willy-nilly like, looking for a target. And he's going to find Trixie, unable to get the Vortex off, though.
Yeah, he's been getting some really good luck with these. Now he's going to find Yao.
Rabbit jumping on Demon, but TPing out and making it to the... Oh, he got the Scythe off! Can they get to him in time? No, they're going to be able to do a little bit of damage, but Rabbit will still be able to make it away. Maybe. Here comes No Tail. And no, I'm not going to get there in time.
That was a very questionable sequence of initiation from Fnatic. They don't need to jump on the Dragon Knight.
Demon
Might
might hit him
find
off
him
with the
out.
pass and did. Scythe of Ice not yet ready. He's got 15 seconds on it. Zhao 8 came way far forward, forced the BKB again, and he may end up dead. And forced the mech to stay alive. They won't end up diving it. But still, Zhao 8 taking a lot of free damage and having to spend yet another BKB charge. His BKB currently sitting at just 7 seconds.
Yeah, Fnatic did not need to initiate on DK. DK is not that important of a hero. If you leave him alive, he's just not going to do that much. He'll be annoying with the Dragon Tail, but he actually won't be able to kill anybody because he's forced to go pure defensive damage, or defensive build rather. And they really just need to save Scythe of Ice for Storm Spirit. It was a nice idea, but one Force Staff saved them. And I don't think they have enough damage to burst through. Maybe if they get like an Eclipse on him too, as well as a Whirling Death minus strength, then maybe they can kill him. We see a jump from Rabbit, try to go for Trixie, but unable to do so. So I think Fnatic, if they came out even with a poor engagement, poor initiation rather, so I think if they get a good initiation, LGD is going to get wrecked.
The gold continuing to slope very heavily in Fnatic's favor. Down the nearly 5-digit territory. The experience eclipsed that mark some time ago. And really at this point, what are LGD's options? Like, you obviously can't let the status quo continue. What do you do? Is it desperation smoke time? Is it high risk, high reward time? I mean, what if you're
Smoke
in the
time.
Yep.
Smoke time and contest Roche. They gave away the 2 last Roaches uncontested, which, I mean, but can they really contest Roche? They can't really give it up for free just because they're falling further and further behind. But if they contest it, they have to fight into Eclipse, into Requiem, into Song of the Siren, and No-Tail has a blink now too.
Yep, No-Tail actually picked that blink up some time ago. And we haven't really seen it put to good use yet, but I'm sure we will. Chakram slowing down this push from LGD. Elder Dragon form, though, allowing DK to do a nice amount of damage in conjunction with the Visage Familiar. So they do take a tower. That's only one outer tier tower remaining now for Fnatic. So even though Fnatic's ahead, ostensibly, the map control war still in favor of LGD as they have 3 tier 2 towers still standing.
Yeah, Fnatic's just getting more and more farmed on Luna and Shadow Fiend, though. Luna almost has her butterfly completed, just about 1,000 gold away. Shadow Fiend probably going to go another damage or survivability item after that Scythe of Ice pickup.
1,700 gold for Demon. And LGD continuing to just move as 5 and rely on their execution. They have picked up a number of Ghost Scepters. DDC has one of his own, and DD has one already in his inventory.
Ghost Scepters are just, they're okay, though, just because Shadow Fiend and Luna, you can't get armor because you'll get wrecked by Eclipse and Requiem, but you also can't get Ghost Scepter because it's the same thing. But if you get BKB, you just die to the right clicks too, so they need a lot of items to tank through that damage.
And now beginning to give the Roche Pit some attention, as they should. Going to be about 30 seconds until Roche is back up, give or take. Fnatic doing the same thing, just doing it on the other side. 24 seconds now. And this Roshan fight could very well determine the outcome of game 1.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic took 1 and 2 uncontested. I think that was a big mistake by LGD. Not that they really could have done anything about it either, but they still should have been aware of it, or at least get something out of it, like a T1 or a T2. But as of right now, like, Shadow Fiend is just incredibly large right now, 218. And, I mean, aside from that, Luna has 50% more CS than Shadow Fiend.
And Roshan spotted. LGD knows it's up. And Fnatic suspecting so. Yep, they're going to send No-Tail's Illusions into the pit and spot out the familiars.
LGD has a smoke. They need to get the jump on Fnatic.
Roshan spotted by both teams now. LGD backing up. Assault Cuirass is done on Yao. Vlad's up on Zhao 8, and this is going to be about as good a chance as they're going to have to get this game back under control. Demon at just enough gold now after clearing this ancient camp. He can go buy a Demon Edge if he wants to do so. And yep, I'm surprised that LGD didn't smoke here. They had to know Fnatic was going to be positioned up here.
Yeah, I don't know if they just didn't have one or what, but it's going to be difficult to push into a half HP T2 tower. But at the same time, if they back off and farm, Fnatic takes Roshan.
Yep. This is kind of do or die time. Ultimate Orb up on Rabbit. I would imagine he's looking for a Scythe of Ice. And Fnatic continuing to hold the line at this tier 2.
Rabbit looks like he's trying to bait the sheep out. If they bait the sheep and then he force-steps them out and then they can re-engage after that, that'd be a really good fight for LGD.
And now moving in to do some damage to the tier 2. Chakram thrown out. Demon's way up front. There's the Scythe of Ice on the Yao. They're going to come on through, but there's the Eclipse as well. BKB's up on both sides. Song of the Siren following the blink, and Zhao 8 caught out with the ensnare. Yao going to be next on the list. Ulti goes off, DDC, dead man standing. Rabbit, though, trying to counterpunch in the meantime. Trixie taking a lot of damage. Demon not hitting quite as hard as he would like. And there's an ensnare that actually catches him. Now a TP back in off the buyback from Trixie. Yao trying to get out and will not make it out. They managed to get AUI and Trixie. Trixie buys back. DDC scrambling through the river. There's a Timber Chain and a Chakram as well as a Blink and Snare. 3 down in exchange for 2. And they should have the firepower to bring down their 3rd Roshan of the game.
This one's going to be the cheese too, so even though Alwi said he will still be able to reap the benefits of the next Roshan. And Shadow Fiend 4,000 gold too. And he had buyback secured if they needed it. Luna with Satanic and Butterfly and Manta just takes so much effort on the side of LGD to bring it down. They had to do him even after he had expended Eclipse. Now Storm Spirit has a sheep of his own, so they do have a lot at the table. 1 Vortex, 1 Orchid, 1 Scythe, and a Doom. So potentially they can disable like close to 4 targets at the same time.
Roshan has fallen to the
Fnatic taking Roshan, grabbing the Aegis, Shadow Fiend. No surprise to see Demon handling that Aegis again. And the cheese most likely going to end up going to Luna by the time all is said and done. But Demon is huge. No other way to say it. 4,800 gold-ish. On top of a Scythe of Ice, on top of a BKB. And yep, he's going to go ahead and just flat out buy an Assault Cuirass. Done with it already.
Look at the net worth chart, though. It's still like Luna way ahead of everybody. Shadow Fiend a close second. And, I mean, you have Yao and Xiaoyi like kind of hanging in there, but still is heavily eclipsed by the Luna and the Shadow Fiend. And they just scale so incredibly well with items. It seems like Fnatic has figured out the playstyle or how to play against the Chinese very well. It's just play greedier than them and force them to come to you. And generally, they're more than happy to group up at 5-man. But when a Fnatic's so good about dodging fights and executing in small skirmishes, LGD is just falling further and further behind every time they try and group up.
And really, coming up on 40 minutes now in this first game, the time for them to do anything but try to rush down and make something happen is long since come and gone. It's so hard to do that into an Aegis and a cheese, and this is the point you made earlier. But really, they're certainly not gaining ground this way. 10,000 gold, the advantage for Fnatic now. The experience is beginning to get even more out of hand. You take a look at the levels, 19 and 18 compared to 18 and 15 for the top 2 on either side.
This is your worst nightmare as the LGD lineup. You don't want this game to go to 40 minutes. You don't want the Shadow Fiend and Luna to have like complete free farm and 3 deaths combined in between the both of them. You don't want Fnatic to take down 3 Roshans in a row, fairly uncontested too. So LGD, this is the way, if this is one way for the game to go wrong for them, this is exactly it. So they're not completely out of the game yet. Rabbit is still pretty big and he hasn't died yet, but I mean, the Storm Spirit, he can't like solo kill either the Luna or the Shadow Fiend. And
this could be bad. They clear out Scythe of Ice, used on Zhao 8. Can they bring him down fast enough? He mechs and BKBs. That's a short duration BKB. Blink is up on No Tail. No, he actually already used it. Unable to track him down.
He used a Song of Siren, but no one was even around. If he just blink and netted, that would have been an easy kill on Doombringer. So I think that he expected some of his teammates to be around him, which they were, but just too far out of range, even with a blink.
And even though that's a failed gank, look where LGD now has to set up shop. Under their own tier 3s. This is not a way to come back. And they know it. Fnatic, though, actually pulling even further back, going back to their own jungle, just wanting to continue their farm on Trixie, wanting to continue their farm on AUI. And speaking of AUI, another 3,000 gold in his inventory already. He's getting damn close to 6 slotted.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what item he's going to go next. He could go Scotty if he wants more HP in case he's scared of getting doomed, which he should be. He should be scared of getting doomed. What else? He already has Manta. He already has all the survivability items, though. I mean, AC's already gotten by Shadow Fiend, so he can't get that. He could get more damage, but, I mean, he got Scotty last game. Why not this game?
Down at bottom, Yao and DD showing themselves. Manta Illusions pushing this wave in. Up the top, Rabbit continuing to farm away. Rabbit's had a good game, 5-0 for him, and he has been as problematic for Fnatic to deal with as we anticipated he would be. The problem is, they've dealt with him just good enough that the rest of LGD has not been able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, the rest of LGD just forced to turn tail and run in most of these fights where Rabbit can just jump around as he pleases. Just no backup for him. No help.
41 minutes in, and this game entering its late game phase could be a long one because it doesn't look like either team is in any particular hurry to try and close the door. In terms of towers, we can see 3, or make that 2, standing on the map, 1 on each side, both in the bottom lane.
I wonder if Fnatic can run the same sort of strategy if they're not on the Dire side too. Typically, Shadow Fiend is very strong on the Radiant side because he can go to the 2 pool camps as well as utilize the Ancients very effectively. But on the flip side, if you're on Dire, you can just take out Roshan very easily even with a Helmet Dominator. So, yeah, they've been extremely reliant on Roshan this game though.
Keeping an eye on AUI, waiting to see what his next big item is going to be. The Aegis is going to be reclaimed very, very soon. And yeah, that wave is pushed in at bottom. They might try to cut through the jungle and take a fight down there. LGD not in the best position if they decide to go.
Oh, they might get a sheep out on Rabbit though.
Yep, if they jump Rabbit, this is going to be very tough for them to react to as they're spread out across the whole map. And yep, now they're going to be revealed and ready to push. LGD, we'll see how quick they are in coming. Looks like they are going to react and look to defend. They have a glyph available, and they will likely spend it soon. There it is. Here comes Zhao 8 up front. DD's there, and there's a Scythe of Ice on the Zhao 8. Force Staff gets him safely out of harm's range. Here comes Rabbit. They're going to jump on Demon. Demon Scythe out as well. He's going to be Force Staffed away. There's Vortex on the Demon, but he's out of the fight. Rabbit has to jump out following the Eclipse. Demon with his own BKB up, just doing mass amounts of right-click. However, Song of the Siren disjointed the fight and came back in favor of Fnatic. DD actually managed to get Song, and he's able to buy time for the rest of his team to retreat. And that could end up delaying this game even longer. That's a big play for
this is game-ending push right here, though. They already bought back on Dragon Knight. He doesn't has a BKB up, and Aoi and Demon are still very healthy HP. Aoi has Satanic if he needs to heal up. Shadow Fiend has HOD to heal up as well as an Aegis. They can't stop this push.
Down goes the tier 3 on bottom. Now the Rax next in line. Zhao 8 will be back up for 20 seconds. Aegis will be reclaimed. And they might just rotate up. Yeah, looks like that.
The Aegis is going to expire, so they need to be a little bit careful. I mean, they were very, very strong with the Aegis. Without, they're okay. Rabbit may be looking for a pickoff, but too risky at this point. One more fight like that, and LGD has to call the GG.
We can see Fnatic has been more or less in control of this game from word go. Only a handful of times, hell, not a handful, a couple, has the gold graph dipped on the friendly side of 0 for LGD for the most part. Gold and experience both very even in the beginning, but it's been all about Western pride since that point. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it's hard to even imagine what they can do. Everyone on the side of Fnatic is just gigantic, and AUI has 4,000 gold, 4,500 gold for Demon.
Yep, and it's a 4-second BKB on Doom. It's a 5-second BKB on Dragon Knight. I mean, we haven't even seen like the sleep into a Requiem combo yet, or at least a very nice one. And I mean, to sleep Requiem into Eclipse, like you're just gonna all flop if you don't have your BKBs up. But if they BKB, they can just get slept and snared down. So LGD trying to make something happen. Aoi is out alone. He has a Scotty.
And jumped upon, scythed out. He has a lot of health, but not nearly enough. He's going to be picked off, and that's a huge pick for them. He has enough for buyback. Don't know that he'll spend it. Crystal Maiden, in the meantime, has picked up a Heaven's Halberd, so should be looking to take away whatever
they're going to try and force a buyback. It's up to Fnatic to keep them in place. If he sleeps, then they can initiate and buy back in TPN.
Zhao 8 rotating the top, the rest of LGD hanging around the outside.
Their base is under attack too.
Yep, the creeps going to work on the tier 4s. This might be all in. Yao, not a lot of time left on Elder Dragon for him, and here we go. DD still had it. Catches Fnatic out. Can they capitalize? Demon will BKB as soon as it comes out. There you go, off on both sides. Demon in the middle of the fight, eating a lot of damage. He's been doomed as well. Trixie about to drop, but the damage coming out of Demon more than sufficient in the meantime. He does end up dying, but they get Yao and nearly Rabbit. That's a triple kill, and No Tail, with the sleep of his own, will make it a full 5-man wipe as Fnatic holds serve. And that might just about be that. Fnatic charges down mid lane, the crowd rallying in support of the West. And yeah, what a conclusion. I mean, LGD did what they could, but At this point,
they just had a gamble on the fact that Aoi didn't have buyback. If Aoi didn't have buyback there, maybe they can win that fight. But with the buyback during the Song of Siren, there's just no chance. Maybe if they can sheep Shadow Fiend before he BKBs, but that would just be silly for Shadow Fiend not to pop BKB at that point. Rabbit buys back. Roshan is going to respawn in about 1.5 minutes time, and the H's and G's will surely seal the deal. Oh, Fly actually gets caught out.
4 staffed away. He's got help, and Rabbit's going to BKB, but he's in the middle of a lot of unfriendly faces. Has to TP out from the high ground, so getting very aggressive on Fly, but not nearly enough to bring him down.
He has 11 urn charges.
Oh yeah, he's been carrying that urn forever. He's used very few of them. And Roshan now bound to be the focus. Rosh will be back up in just about a minute.
Yep, Fnatic can take this fight very easily though. They just need to wait for LG to come to them and just win the fight. All they need to do is protect Luna too. If Luna dies, LGD actually has a pretty good shot of winning this game because he won't have buyback up, especially before the Roshan goes down. But if Luna gets the Aegis and sells her TP, then LGD just can't win it from there. So can they protect Luna? Yeah, they should be able to. No mech up actually on their team, surprisingly. No pipe either.
Pretty much everyone on the side of LGD.
Oh, Timber has a mech.
Just feels anemic. Mech out on Zhao 8, but we can see it's just about a 20,000 gold lead for Fnatic now, and they're just taking their time and trying to shut this down. Rosh is going to come up just about the time they check. Going to run in. Will he see it? Nope, cleared out just before he respawns.
Under attack.
And hanging out on the top ground. He back up, and yep, there he is. Instead, trying to find a smoke pick here in mid.
They're all looking to kill Aoi, though. If Aoi gets doomed, they could lose this fight and lose the Roshan and lose a game. So it's all on Aoi's positioning. It's all on the 4 staffs, the mechs, and his...
Up here we go. Demon going to get off the ulti. Rabbit eats a lot of damage, 4 staffed away. Can they re-engage off of it? Song of the Siren going as we speak. And they're all grouped up, but they have to pull back and re-initiate Rabbit jumping, trying to track down.
Aoi gets pulled in.
And Aoi going to be jumped upon Rabbit, bouncing back and forth. Aoi using the Satanic to heal through the damage. Yao doing what he can. Side devices there. Trixie comes back in, and Rabbit ends up dropping DD next on the list, and GG. And one of the longest games of the tournament so far. LGD comes up wanting against the crowd favorite, Fnatic. The Cinderella story continues, and what once was a best of 5 has now become a best of 3.
Fnatic played greedily, and it worked out for them because they were able to stall the push from LGD, and they also outdrafted LGD, I feel like. I mean, Storm Spirit is nice, but if you get free farm, how does that compare to a free farm from a Shadow Fiend as well as a Luna? It just isn't going to stack up. So it was a losing proposition from the get-go to try and out-farm, especially with excellent carry players, Demon and Aoi. And they rarely got caught out. There's 3 deaths on Shadow Fiend, 2 deaths on Luna in a 50-minute game. That's pretty good considering they have the Storm and the Doom.
Taking a look at the box scores, we can see Yao struggled again. We've seen him have some pretty bad games on Dragon Knight. 0-5 and 8 the performance this time. Rabbit did what he could, and just not enough. 5-2 and 4 for him on the side of Fnatic, though. We can see Naga Siren. No Tail played an excellent Naga Siren once again. A standout performance from him. 0-1 and 10. 9 and 10 for Demon. A part of 19 of the 24 kills Fnatic amassed. Same is true of AUI and Trixie. So just continuing to get work done and continuing to ride this high as they once again have reduced this best of 5 grand finals to a best of 3, negating that 1 game advantage LGD entered our grand finals with. Looking ahead to game 2, what do you expect to see out of both teams?
I mean, I don't think LGD has played enough against Fnatic to adjust to them. Like, this is a relatively new playstyle that we see. It's like super greedy, yet it's still team fight oriented. So LGD, I think they need to go back to the drawing board. I mean, Fnatic, they can just do what they do. Play greedily, give Demon and Aoi heroes that they're good for, let Fly and No-Tail carry them in the early game, Demon and Aoi carry them in the late. So Fnatic doesn't really need to change anything. LGD needs to change up their very predictable playstyle.
We'll find out if LGD can make those halftime adjustments coming up in just a moment. Stick with us here on the HyperX D2L. Game 2 of the Grand Finals on the way next.